Palestine. Nice and loud, everyone. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Come on, everybody, gather up, get in close. We're about to start. Come on, everyone, gather up. This is your community. These are your people. This is where you should be drawing strength from. Amazing, amazing, amazing. 428 weeks every Sunday in Melbourne. Each one of you loud and proud. You're the true believers. Thank you. A big round of applause to each and every one of you. Big thank you to each and every one of you, not just from me as a Palestinian, not from me just as another Arab, not from me as another Muslim, not from me as another token bloke, from me as a human being. The fight for Palestine is a fight for humanity, it's a fight for us all, and thank you! My friends, it's very easy for us to give in to despair, but don't. Know that you are not alone, that here we are in our tens, in our hundreds, in our thousands, in our millions! In our thousands, in our millions! Not just here in Naarm, not just in Gadigal, not just on this continent, but across the world, in places you've never imagined. In places I never imagined. Japan, Korea, all across the States, the UK, France, Germany, everywhere on earth, people are coming out and fighting for Palestine because they know this is the fight of our time, the fight of our life, and it's not a fight not just for Palestine, but each and every one of us, and in particular here on this stolen land, on this colony, in this system that has taken a continent that had 100% Indigenous population and marginalised, brutalised, murdered, imprisoned, raped their way down to 4%. Shame! Shame! This always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Always was!
Always will be!
Always was!
Always will be!
Aboriginal land!
Aboriginal land!
And know, my friends, and know the fight for Palestine is a fight for all Indigenous people, wherever that might be, here, in Aotearoa, in West Papua, in Western Sahara, in Kashmir, wherever an oppressed people is fighting for their self-determination, we are fighting for them. We are fighting for them, they are fighting for us, we are fighting together for a world where we can live in together. Come on! And to any of our black brothers and sisters that are here, thank you, you should know. As we did last year, this year at Invasion Day, all of us will show up for you. We will all be there in solidarity for you, for when you are imprisoned, we are imprisoned. When they imprison one of your children, a 10-year-old, shame on this colony. Shame on this colony and anyone that supports imprisoning 10-year-olds. They can't be on Facebook, but they can be in jail. Shame. Shame on this colony and the oppression that manifests itself in the treatment that we see of our sister Lydia Thorpe. Shame. Shame. But they don't know what they're dealing with. They don't know what they're dealing with, the unbreakable spirit of an Indigenous people that draws strength. Draws strength not from money, draws strength not from buildings, draws strength not from flags and swords and fake histories, but draws strength from Indigenous connection to dirt and ancestral knowledge and ancestors and their stories. That strength is unbreakable on this continent, in Aotearoa, in Palestine, and every oppressed Indigenous people. And they're dealing with her, and they're also having to deal with Senator Naarm Faruqi and Senator Payman, our own squad. And we'll call out the scumbag fascists, and we'll tell that ginger that she's a racist. We'll remind her every chance we get she's a racist. Convicted racist. Convicted. You can't tell people to piss off, because if anybody should piss off to where they came from, it should be you, Ginger. If anyone should piss off, it should be you. Not Marine, not Fatma, not me, not any one of us. This land always was and always will be Aboriginal, and only they can say who can stay and who can't come, and we're all their guests. So a big round of applause for our first speaker, an Indigenous powerhouse, our superwoman, who stood proud in the face of somebody else's king, because he ain't my king, stood proud and said, you're not my king, there is no treaty, this is unceded sovereign land, shame on this colony, shame on that king. Big round of applause for Senator Lydia Thorpe.
The amount of love that we have for one another is what maintains our strength and our resistance. You are my family. You are part of who we are in this country. You understand what it's like to protect country, to protect water, to protect each other. The settler colonials around the world are scared of the love that we have for each other. They are scared of our connection around the globe. We have connected. You have connected us internationally. And the racists are becoming the minority because we are building and strengthening and connecting through genocide. We are connecting through our resistance to stop racism, to stop genocide, to stop the destruction of our lands, to stop the murdering of innocent children. That's what keeps us strong, is our connection. And I thank you for the support that you all give me and my people every day in this colony. I chose not to bring the cops today because every time I bring the cops, I get hurt. Every time I bring the cops, they are profiling you. So fuck the police. I only trust my own people, and that's you. There's a criminal, murdering genocidalist walking around free out there, and over 100 countries have called for his arrest. What is this country doing? We need a citizen's arrest to that murderer.
Yep.
And we are part of that citizen's arrest to bring that murdering thief down for murdering innocent babies, innocent families. Netanyahu has got a dollar sign on his head, and someone needs to take action to put him away for good. And every other genocidalist that stands beside him, a war criminal. And we have war criminals in my workplace, as you know. know, who sit on their hands and pretend to be there for the people. They are not there for the people, they are there for themselves. And I don't care how many censures, how many suspensions, or how many times they try to shut my voice down, which is the people's voice. I will stand up every day, whether it be inside that place or outside with the real people, but we have to stand together and grow stronger and show the rest of the world that from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thank you, Lydia. From one colonised people to another, we stand in solidarity in your strength and resistance and unwillingness to be bowed and silenced. I'd like to take a moment to pay our respects to our elders, past, present and emerging, and recognise their long history of settler colonial oppression and genocide. As we stand witnessing the Palestinian people's genocide, our genocide. It is a lesson that tells us that these regimes and these countries and these institutions, they still exist and they provide cover for each other. Our government has been silent, and more than that, they have been complicit. But history has also shown that we exist to resist. I can see a sign up there, and I do agree with you. Persistence plus resistance is existence. 76 years, Palestinians have been persecuted and silenced. 250 years on this land, Indigenous people have been persecuted and silenced. And it takes bravery to go into the floor of our government's institutions and not kowtow to their lies and hold them to account. And every single one of us do that when we come out and protest every week. We hold them to account. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, who has spent over 50 years, every 50 years, campaigning for his people's liberation, for their justice, and standing in solidarity with Palestinians. Those of you in this crowd will know him. Dr. Gary Foley. Give him a warm welcome, because he shows up every single day. Thank you.
Greetings! I'm here yet again to affirm the strong support of all the members of the Aboriginal community who I represent in this country, which are the majority, of course. Affirm our support for our Palestinian brothers and sisters. The figures in our community know that your history is our history. Your struggle is our struggle. Our peoples have the common experience of having our homelands invaded and occupied, having a brutal settler colonial society imposed upon us, subjecting us to genocidal policies, imprisoning our people. We have a common history. and we have a common history of resistance. Because wherever there is oppression, there is inevitably resistance. And resistance will continue until the oppression ends and our peoples are free. I'm getting a bit old these days, but I still am here every Sunday because, like every person of conscience in this country, which means everyone here and a lot who ain't here, every person of conscience in this country should not be standing by with what has been going on for the last year or so. I call on all people of Australia with any level of conscience to join us here every Sunday until the slaughter and the genocide stops. The resistance shall continue. Long live the Aboriginal and Palestinian resistance. Thank you.
My friends, that's a life well lived, a life full of fight and vigour, a life with comrades that will lay down their bodies for you. That's what we should expect from each and every one of us, because unless all of us are free, no one is free. Unless all of us are free, no one is free, my friends. On Tuesday, Uncle Robbie Thorpe, make sure you join us, 8:30 in the morning at Flagstaff Gardens. We'll have a vigil there, and then we're going to move across to the Magistrates Court, where his genocide case against that genocideer Australian Mark Regev is going to be held. So Tuesday morning, there'll be more about this. Grab a flyer, make sure you're all there on Tuesday. Now, my friends, before the next speaker, we've got to bypass this mainstream media. So if you've got an Instagram or a Facebook or a Twitter, get your phone out and tape this. Get it out, tape it, record it. I'm showing how old I am, record. Get ready to record, because we need to share this message with everyone. Everyone needs to know this. Everyone. This attack on this synagogue. The attack on this synagogue. Don't say that. The attack on this synagogue, whoever set fire to this synagogue is a racist, is a fascist, is an anti-Semite, is a Nazi, and they're not from here. They are not us. Our movement has no room for them. Our movement has no room for hate. If you've got any hate in your body, you do not belong here. We condemn that act, and we stand here with our brothers and sisters and our siblings who are Jewish, who show up every single week. A big round of applause for them. And for every Jew, we stand in solidarity with them, because our fight is not with Judaism, it's with Zionism. And it's not just with Zionism, it's with every form of racism, however it manifests itself, every form of superiority, however it manifests itself, be it homophobia, misogyny, the patriarchy, Islamophobia. Every single one of those hates has no place in our movement, and if it looks like you, piss off. If that hate looks like you, piss off. You don't belong here. The fight for Palestine is a fight for liberation for all. When Palestine is free, we will all be free. And a message to our politicians who are trying to score cheap domestic political points. Know whose side you're on. When a war criminal, a man on the run, war crimes, genocide, when a man like Benjamin Netanyahu, when you're on his side, know that history will not judge you well, and we will never let you forget. We will never let you wash that stain off your resume. You will be a genocide apologist for eternity. In our thousands, in our millions. My friends, next up, and solidarity doesn't just extend just here amongst Indigenous people, it extends to workers, to women, to everyone that's oppressed. We've seen a massive fight, 17 days with workers at the United Workers Union closing down Woolworths. All praise to them. This company that makes billions of dollars wants to turn human beings into robots to ensure they pick fast enough so they can maintain their profits. Shame on them. We're joined by Dave, who's a delegate with the United Workers Union. He works in the Woolworths supply chain and he's been down there for 17 days. Big round of applause for Dave, everyone.
Thank you for inviting us to speak. Our meeting is being held in the lands of the Wurundjeri people, and I wish to acknowledge the owners. I would also like to pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and Aboriginal elders of other communities who may be here today. Sovereignty was never ceded. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. 17 days ago, 1,800 workers withdrew their labour from the supermarket giant Woolworths. For 17 days, workers have braved the heat and the wind and the rain. For 17 days, workers have stood up to corporate power. Unless you live on profits, you are a worker. The people of Palestine are workers. From the bosses, there has been lies. From the bosses, there has been fear-mongering. From the bosses, there has been threats. From the workers, there has been support. From the workers, there has been bonding. From the workers, there has been solidarity. The bosses complain that the workers want more money. And what is wrong with that? What do they think we do with the money? Workers are not buying the complicity of politicians. Workers are not paying fancy lawyers to suppress workers' rights. Workers are paying overpriced rents. Workers are paying overpriced utilities. Workers are giving the money back to Woolworths for overpriced groceries. Our strike is about much more than pay. Our strike is about workers being treated fairly and with dignity. Our strike is about protecting our rights. When workers' rights are under attack, we stand up, we fight back. This strike has shown us the workers can stand up. This strike has shown us the workers can push back. This strike has shown us the workers have power. The bosses fear us when we stand up. The bosses fear us when we push back. The bosses know there are more of us than them. The Australian government condones the erosion of workers' rights. The Australian government condones the slaughter of Palestinians. The Australian government has been and still is complicit in genocide. Governments across the world do remove workers' rights. Governments across the world do turn against workers. Governments across the world do slaughter the people. The people of Palestine live under apartheid. The people of Palestine push back against their oppressors. The people of Palestine stand up. The people of Palestine are met with bullets and bombs and slaughter. Bosses everywhere dehumanise workers. Governments everywhere dehumanise Palestinians. When workers stand up for Palestinians, governments send their police. Not to protect workers, but to protect their corporations. When workers remove their labour, governments send police to break the picket lines. Governments send their armies to slaughter the people. Bosses fight workers with threats. Governments fight workers with police and with soldiers. Workers fight back in unions with solidarity and mutual aid. Around the world, more anti-worker governments are taking power. Around the world, bosses use legal threats. Around the world, governments use police violence. Around the world, workers stand shoulder to shoulder and arm in arm. Around the world, workers are standing up against corporations. Workers are standing up against the war machine. Workers are standing up for Palestine. Around the world, workers stand in solidarity against the bosses. Workers stand in solidarity against the state. Workers stand in solidarity with Palestine. None of us will be free until Palestine is free. Solidarity forever! Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Thank you, Dave. And what Dave had to say is extremely poignant today, because today is the anniversary of the first Intifada. Now I know a lot of you know what that means, but for some of you who don't know, on the 8th of December in 1987, Palestinian civil society rose up against their oppressors. People went on strike. Community collectives were formed. They boycotted, divested from Israeli produce. They refused to work in Israeli companies and sites that exploited them. They went out in protest in the streets, demanding justice and freedom and liberation. And they were met with mass repression. 40% of Palestinian men saw the inside of an Israeli prison for a peaceful protest. Israel adopted policies of breaking the bones, which means if they got a hold of you, they would break your bones, leave you lying in the street with snipers aimed at you. And if someone dared to help you, they would shoot them. Civil society was targeted. And when the men ended up in prisons, the women went out into the streets and led the movement. I always love hearing about the story of my grandma, who under guise of political activism, she was 58 years old, was part of a community group learning to speak and write. But what they were doing was politically organizing, protesting under mass oppression. Palestinians have resisted Israeli oppression for generations. And the first Intifada taught us lessons. It taught us that we were on our own in the international stage, but we had each other. And that everyday people can make a change. And we accepted that our liberation would mean our very lives. But we still resisted. And it's extremely poignant because our union movements were heavily involved against that resistance. And so it tells us that people power, worker power, can make a change and hold those in power accountable. And will continue till this day. So long live the resistance! to remind you that if you see buckets going around the crowd, that funds that we're collecting helps the campaigns for Palestinian liberation here in Melbourne. It helps us fund the Sunday protests. It also helps us fund campaigns that are happening right now in our local councils, in our arms group, in our union groups. So you guys, every single one of you, is contributing to resistance. You are part of the resistance. You are the heart of the resistance. And together, we will hold these criminals, these war criminals, to account. Now, our next speaker is a long-time Palestinian activist and organizer, but he's done so much more. Steve Sabisi first went to Palestine in 1988 in the heart of the Intifada as a student activist. And he went back to work as a journalist in the first Intifada. He started an organization called PCRF, which he built and led for 30 years. And last January, he co-founded Heal Palestine, which has supported 25 injured kids in Gaza to help them get to the US to be treated, helping them in field hospitals in Gaza, in schools. He supported 2 kitchens and much more on the ground, helping people in Gaza. Please give Steve a warm welcome.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. What an honor it is to have this opportunity to speak. And it's going to be very hard because we face today one of the most historical injustices that's ever been seen. I'm sure in all of our lifetimes we've never seen in real time a genocide as we see today. And I'm here, I wanted to introduce my wife, Dr. Zina Salman, who is the leader of evacuating children from Gaza with cancer. What we see today is a challenge to each of us individually and collectively. A genocide of this magnitude, and I admit and I recognize I'm an American and it's my government that is #1 responsible for this genocide. This is an American genocide, more than any other genocide. And therefore I have the responsibility more than anyone to stand up against the policies of death and starvation that my government is imposing on our brothers and sisters in Gaza, and to do something constructive and positive, and to also raise our children to also resist and struggle for freedom in the next generation, because this will be a generational struggle that we're facing today. Dr. Salman is somebody I respect and admire, and I want her to talk a little bit about what it means with children with cancer in Gaza. A child with cancer in the Gaza Strip. What does that mean for a child today? And what do they face?
Thank you. I've been going to Gaza. I've had the honor of going to Gaza for 10 years now as a cancer doctor. And I've made friends who've become family in the last 10 years. And in the past 14 months, I have watched my friends and family be murdered. Doctors murdered. Shame. Nurses murdered. A cancer hospital for children we built destroyed. And children dying by death, by cancer, and by bombs. Shame. And for the last 14 months, we've been working to get children out, but they have to leave their family, they have to leave their land, they have to leave everything behind. And when I talk to those mothers every single day, they ask for one thing: do not forget and do not give up. We stand with the people of Gaza. We stand with the children of Gaza. We stand with the mothers and the fathers of Gaza. And we will not give up until Palestine is free. Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
So the question now is, what do we do? Protest? Yes. But we also have to show our brothers and sisters they're not forgotten. We have over 40 staff on the ground today feeding people, running a field hospital, doing a mental health program, educating children. because the schools have been closed and destroyed, because the hospitals have been bombed and healthcare isn't available, because food is not available. We have starvation in Gaza. Imagine children are starving in Gaza today, and there's trucks of food a mile away to feed them. That's on us. That's on me. That's on my shameful government. And we as a people have to stand, not only as Dr. Salman said, and show them that they're not forgotten. That the murder of 2% of the children in Gaza, the murder of 2% of children been killed by American bombs in 15 months, we will not tolerate it. We will not be silent. We will do all we can, as we said before, with love, with healing, and with courage and determination to never give up until Palestine is free. God bless you all.
Thank you, Steve. Now, I know that when we come out to this protest every week, we find our community and we find our family here together. We also mourn together and we resist together. And there is something that inspires the soul when you see people unafraid to speak up. People unafraid to put themselves forward and say, I stand with Palestine. And we know after the last 15 months of this genocide, people have been attacked, they have been threatened, intimidated, and yet we have not been cowed. Israel has shown its very underbelly. It is racist, it is violent, and they have lost their moral compass. It has also shown the world that these oppressions, they have been happening for decades. And the wool that has been on the eyes of everyone has been pulled. We see you, Israel. We see you for the policies that you are. Starving a population, targeting children, hospitals, schools, ambulances. Every facet of ability to sustain life is a decision. That is a decision. That is a policy. But we also show that we stand in opposition to it. We are not cowed. And we will not be silenced. And we come out every week. Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
And I can tell you with complete heart that Palestinians in Gaza and in the West Bank, they see us, they hear us, they know that we come out and fight for their liberation. They know, because my family, they tell me, is this really happening? Is the world finally seeing us? Yes. Because we don't care what the politicians say, and we don't care what the media say. We know they are not on our side. They have actively hidden the truth. But we care what everyday people see and believe and hear. And we know you hear us. Our next speaker is a Palestinian mother of two. She is an educator, an activist, a political analyst. She is a community organizer. She has lived in Akka in 1948, has faced oppression under the apartheid regime. And she now stands in Wurundjeri country land, fighting and resisting. Please give Naarm Mansour a warm welcome, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. I would like to start by acknowledging the custodians of the land, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations, and pay respects to elders past and present. To Uncle Gary and Uncle Robbie and Sister Lydia and all of the other wonderful, amazing Indigenous organizers, I want to thank you for everything that you have done for indigeneity and everything that you continue to do for Palestine and for the broader movement for justice. So from the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free.
always was, always will be,
Aboriginal land.
always was, always will be.
Aboriginal land.
To everyone here with us today, to my Palestinian family, Lebanese and Syrian siblings. As Israel continues to wreak havoc on our beloved Bilad al-Sham, and as it continues to destabilize the world and the region, our movement continues to grow. Our movement, our anti-colonial, anti-racist, anti-war movement continues to grow day by day and week by week. And just like the Palestinian Intifada that erupted to break the shackles of Zionist, settler, colonial, oppressive power structures in Palestine, this global Intifada here will continue to grow until we dismantle every power structure in Palestine and every power structure that continue to subjugate people worldwide. Sarah, this one's for you because I know this is your favorite chant. 1,
We are the people.
2,
We won't be silent.
3.
Stop the bombing now, 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 now.
One more time for Lebanon. 1,
We are the people.
2,
We won't be silent.
3.
Stop the bombing now, 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 now.
And for Syria. 1,
We are the people.
2,
We won't be silent.
3.
Stop the bombing now, 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 now.
And just like Uncle Gary mentioned before he left, Intifada resistance are a byproduct of ongoing injustice and oppression. They are a natural response to powers to structures who continue to oppress and subjugate people. And it is important for us to keep in mind that this global Intifada will remain steadfast. Just like the Palestinian Intifada, this global Intifada has proved to be equally steadfast, equally moral, and equally strategic.
Yes.
And this is due to the work, to the hard work of all of the organizers, Palestinians, allies, First Nation people, Jewish allies, that they have been doing for over decades on this continent, on this stolen land. When we talk about the Nakba, we say the Nakba is ongoing. But it's also important to keep in mind that the Intifada is also ongoing. And for as long as there are checkpoints, as long as there are apartheid walls, as long as there is illegal and immoral siege in Gaza, the Intifada will continue. The Intifada will continue until we dismantle every checkpoint in the West Bank. The Intifada will continue until we end the illegal siege on over 2 million Palestinians in Gaza. The Intifada will continue until all 6 million refugees are able to return to their ancestral land and reunite with their families. The Intifada will continue until until we dismantle Zionism. Because our fight with Zionism is because Zionism is settler colonial ideology, a white supremacist ideology. And our fight is against racism. Our fight is not against Judaism, not as a religion and not as a culture. Judaism has always been a part of the Palestinian history. Our fight is against Zionist, settler, colonial, violent ideologies, policies, and power structure. And to all of our anti-Zionist Jewish allies, this is a promise to you and to all of my Palestinian family that we will continue this fight. We will continue to fight racism, white supremacy, oppression worldwide until we dismantle Zionism. Until we can live together on the land between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea, all equal and free. And together we will decolonize, and we will de-Zionize, and we will create a world that is safe for all of our children. From the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free.
from the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free.
A big round of applause for Noor, everyone! Now, my friends, we're about to get ready to march. We're about to get ready to march, but I want to impress upon you the importance of every single one of you and the importance of everything you do. The International Criminal Court will not free Palestine. The International Court of Justice will not free Palestine. The UN will not free Palestine. We will free Palestine. We must free Palestine. It's so important. The Zionists want us to think we can't win. And it's easy to fall into defeatism, to fall into apathy, to fall into, is this enough? What else can I do? You are doing it. We are winning. No, we are winning. It's the MOUs being cancelled. It's the votes getting changed. It's the events that Israel's not getting invited to. Our job is to make the cost of Zionism so great that it collapses. That's the job of the resistance. Our job is to make the cost of supporting racism, supporting fascism, supporting genocide so costly and so shameful that you don't want to be there. Just like people were against apartheid immediately after it fell. We didn't have the technology to keep the receipts then, but we've got it now, my friends. We've got it now. You're always going to be on the right side of history 428 days later. You're still here. You're still marching. You're still signing. You're still screaming. You're still shouting out for Palestine. The people united. The people united. We have to stick together, my friends. Find your strength and your power and solidarity from those that are around you and know that we will win. 40 years ago in 1984, a worker in a shopping centre, a supermarket, decided that she wouldn't scan oranges from South Africa. She said, before scanning, I'm not going to ring these into a cash register. I won't be part of supporting apartheid in South Africa. I won't be part of supporting the oppression of another people. Along with her comrades, they went on strike. She was 21 years old, Karen Guerin and Mary Manning. The 9 of them went out on strike until that manager stopped selling South African goods. One small action in one spot became the domino that saw so many things happen. I don't know what's going on over there. Anyway, you should know that we are all together and our power is in our work as we work together. So keep it up, my friends. Zionists want you to think that we've been defeated. They tell us they're a democracy. They tell us that they're a green country. They tell us that we know all of those things are lies. These lies get parroted by our media and our government, and the absurdity. We know the absurdity. We know the absurdity of this. They've framed the child throwing a stone at a tank as a terrorist, not a pilot dropping a 2,000-pound bomb on a tent city. They're not the terrorists, the kids are terrorists. Shame on them and shame on everyone supporting them. Shame! My friends, our liberation is everybody's liberation. Our human agency, our revolutionary movement is something we are building together, and we will be free from the river to the sea. My friends, justice is not given. Justice is not given. Justice is fought for, and justice is won. Justice is fought for, and justice is won. The fight continues today and every day until we are free from the river to the sea.
Palestine,
from the river to the sea.
Palestine,
let's march, everyone. 1.
We are the people.
2.
We won't be silent.
3.
Stop the bombing now, 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 now.
1.
We are the people.
2.
We won't be silent.
3.
Stop the bombing now, 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 now.
Let's march, everybody. Free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
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 Free Palestine!
Free,